Guys, take a look. I'm in the store. They got the ET9. Of course, the Firefly. We already filmed that car, actually. We got the Firefly test drive car right here. My car's over there, right next to it. The ET9. Whew, it looks good, man. The ET9 looks good. All right, I got some cool information for you guys. So, guys, right now it's about 6 p.m., all right? And we got delivery numbers to talk about. We also got incentives. The incentives to talk about what are the current incentives for NIO and for Onvo in May. So start of a new month, very, very cool. Of course, the top line numbers for NIO Group, 23,900 deliveries, up 53% year over year. Definitely a stellar performance, above 20,000, but still far from 30,000 deliveries. Very far from 40,000 deliveries, and we definitely need to get up to those numbers if you want to see profitability, right? So from these deliveries, 19,269 was from the NIO brand, thanks to the clearance sale, massive incentives, and they're selling a lot of cars, right? And then 4,400 was from Onvo brand, which, let's be honest, that's actually not bad, all right? Now, definitely not up to our, expectations, but one car model selling 4,000 per month in this competitive market is actually pretty good, okay? And they have some new adjustments to incentives, which I think will really help boost this number in May. And then, of course, 231 for Firefly. They only had like 1 day of deliveries for Firefly. So that's understandable, all right? So don't be like, oh my God, Firefly only delivered 231 cars. It's just 1 day. That's when they started deliveries. So the stores right now, they're not that many people. It's holiday, okay? And people are off work. They're mostly traveling. They're going to different places, going to vacation destinations. So I talked to some of the sales rep there. The current incentive for NIO is actually unchanged. There's a different incentive for Onvo, which is pretty juicy. We'll talk about that in a bit. But NIO's incentive still remains the same. They're doing full clearance sale, so which means about 5 years, 0% interest. You can save up to 44,341 RMB with the ES8. And then 5 years of free battery swap, 240 free swap vouchers. This is the killer deal, which has got a lot of people buying the car, convinced a lot of people. That's why delivery numbers are pretty high this month, okay? And that is worth 20,000 RMB by itself. And of course, on top of that, you have 3 years of NOP plus, and thanks to the clearance sale, you get 20,000 additional off, okay? And then if you order the 5566, the current Shanghai Auto Expo promotion is that you get the Napa interior for half price, and then for inventory cars you get an additional 6,000 RMB off, which is quite interesting. So altogether, if you choose to give up the free battery swap, 5 years of free battery swap, you can get up to 40,000 RMB off. On top of that, you can slap on local trade-in subsidy, which is another like 15,000. So altogether, you can get massive discounts, man. So this is pretty nice, and that's why it's been selling quite well, all right? But of course, Onvo hasn't really had the same level of incentives last month compared to NIO, which is partially why you're not seeing like a huge boost in Onvo's numbers. But this month, Onvo has made a very bold move. This month, they are giving away the 52-liter fridge for free, the freezer for free, with every single Onvo purchase. So that freezer itself is worth 2,880 RMB, which is roughly about, let's say, $350 US dollars or 400 US dollars, give or take. So it's a very nice feature, and after you install it, it sits flush in the trunk of the car, and it's barely noticeable. And this is definitely stirring up a lot of demand. So I've been reading some of the comments from this post, which is them announcing this incentive. A lot of people were like, damn, I'm going to buy the Onvo right now. This is what I wanted the whole time. And also, on top of that, of course, you have some people that have already taken delivery of the Onvo L60, and they're kind of salty about it. They're like, oh my God, I just took delivery 4 days ago, and where's my fridge, that kind of stuff. People were saying like, oh my God, I bought too early, etc., etc. So clearly you can tell the freezer is another thing that people do actually want. Now, of course, this is nothing compared to the 240 free spot vouchers that NIO is getting. So you can sort of expect, if NIO is a more premium brand, but they're giving more incentives, and CGN TV did this excellent interview. I think you guys should go watch it. I'm not going to share it here, but in it they asked William Lee, with the crazy incentives that NIO is doing, they're entering Onvo territory, right? Is Onvo going to, lower your price, or what are you going to do? NIO is taking Onvo sales. And that was straight to the point. And if you see the Chinese version, all right, which is behind the scenes, which is before he even interviewed William Lee, he asked, like, can I ask some, like, very sensitive questions? Can I ask some very, like, tough questions? And William Lee was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. All right. So clearly, we all know that NIO, with crazy incentive, is entering Onvo's territory, taking away some of Onvo's sales. Onvo not having the same level of incentive means their sales aren't going to be, increasing as much as NIO. But of course, this month, Onvo is also giving away 4,000 in charging subsidy, which is equivalent 4,000 RMB, which is roughly about, let's say, 450 US dollars, 500 US dollars of charging subsidy, which is equivalent to about 40 free battery swaps. Definitely not as much compared to 240 free battery swaps. So there's a difference there. And, I kind of wish that Onvo would just be like simple, make it simple. Right now, the incentives are just so crazy. I mean, they have so much stuff. I have to write it down, right? I have to write it down. Keep it simple. If it takes me like a couple of minutes to process it, how long is it going to take the customer to process it? Just keep it simple. 5 years, 0% interest, 3 years, free battery swap. Bam, done. Simple as that, right? I'm sure they can do it. The 3 years of free battery swap isn't gonna cost them a whole lot, but it's gonna be a great headline that's gonna attract a lot of people's attention. 4,000 in charging subsidy, 3,000 Onvo points, which is worth like 300 RMB or 50, 60 US dollars, not that much. And then you get 15,000 to 20,000 RMB in trade-in subsidy if you trade in a previous car. So you do get some decent subsidy. Now, one thing I do kind of have to complain about, I guess, is the fact that they're already starting to hype up the Onvo L90 in the stores. I mean, like, you see these kind of posters for the Onvo L90 in the Onvo stores where they can't even buy it until like maybe 3 months later, right? So that could potentially make customers that want to buy the Onvo L60 now all of a sudden see the Onvo L90. Hey, I want to get this car. Let me wait. So they're hyping up the Onvo L90 before it's even officially launched, before it's even available. 3 months before it's even available. So that's kind of a little bit early. And also with a lot of the live streams, the promotional content you're seeing on social media, they're talking about the Onvo L90 way more than Onvo L60 when they're still trying to sell the Onvo L60. So it's kind of like they're stepping too far ahead, I think. They're stepping too far ahead. They still got to focus on the Onvo L60. It seems like they kind of given up almost on the Onvo L60, which is just very, very unfortunate, very, very tough to see. And of course, there's also news about management changes when it comes to sales, like general managers and that kind of stuff. They got consolidation in certain smaller cities. The general manager responsible for Onvo is now also responsible for NIO, that kind of stuff. That kind of makes sense because in certain cities, it doesn't make sense to have like 2 general managers for like those two brands when they could just have one. Of course, cost saving as well. And also, I think they got to weed out the insubordinate middle level executives, okay? So like people that promote other cars, like that kind of BS, right? We talked about that. And Onvo's response, their response, upper management's response to when I call them out. You know, you got a person who's responsible for the general region of Onvo in this country, and she's sharing videos about other cars, talking about their features. This is unacceptable. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen to her. Maybe she gets fired. I definitely don't hope she gets fired. I don't hope they lose their job, but definitely insubordination needs to be punished. We're at a time where everything is very critical. You're trying to save costs to become profitable. If you are out there promoting other people's cars, you are no use to Onvo. You are no use to NIO. You are no use to investors and shareholders. We do not want you to promote other people's cars, especially on your official account with the Onvo logo and everything on it. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. So very, very nice deliveries. Going forward in May, what are my expectations for May? Well, I think in May, we're going to see continued strength with these incentives for NIO. They're still going to have a lot of clearance sales. And of course, this month, they're launching the new 5566 2025 versions. So that will also spur up more demand. And of course, we're going to have more Firefly deliveries this month. So overall, I think we can get more deliveries in this month than April, which is going to be pretty nice in my personal opinion. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.